Okay, let's unpack this. The world of petroleum trade. It's huge, right? A massive flow of products, trillions of dollars.
Absolutely massive. And
Yeah.
wherever you have that kind of money moving, well, you're going to find people try to siphon some off dishonestly.
Exactly. So for you, the buyer trying to navigate this really complex market, being sharp, understanding how it really works, that's not just helpful, it's essential. It's your main defense, basically.
And the schemes can be quite elaborate. Our sources talk about some really sophisticated stuff, not just, fudging numbers, but fake claims of owning infrastructure or pretending to be refinery reps.
Wow. So not small stuff.
No, not at all. It really drives home that trust alone. It's just not enough in this business. You need solid verification. It's incredibly high stakes.
Precisely. And that's what we're diving into today. Product verification in petroleum trading, looking at it specifically from your angle as the buyer,
Yeah, we've got some great material here from Black Sea Trading and Consultancy. They really break down the key parts of the process.
including something called Dip Test Authorization, or DTA. We'll get into that.
So fundamentally, these articles are like a practical roadmap for buyers. How to navigate this potentially risky environment
Right. Knowing the standard procedures, the real protocols of legitimate sellers.
and spotting the red flags,
Mm.
the signs that something's off.
So our mission today really is to pull out that core knowledge, give you a clear picture of these vital verification steps.
Help you avoid the traps without drowning you in like super technical details.
Okay, let's jump in then. The sources paint a pretty stark picture of fraud being, well, pretty common.
Yeah, it's more than just typos on documents. We're talking deliberate forgeries, people claiming authority they just don't have.
And things like saying they control tank farms or vessels when they don't.
Exactly, that kind of deception. It shows why you just can't take claims at face value. You have to dig deeper.
So the big question is, how do you tell a real opportunity from a scam?
Well, the articles lay out some basic rules. Things legitimate refineries just do. Or, more importantly, things they don't do.
Okay, like what?
A huge one. Legitimate refineries, the sources stress this, they never ask for advance payments. Ever.
That's a big one. Should be a massive red flag right there.
Absolutely. A loud alarm bell. Real players work with established credit. They don't need your cash up front before anything's verified.
Okay, no upfront money to the refineries. Got it. And it also seems like they don't force you to use their chosen logistics providers, like specific ships or storage.
Precisely. That makes sense, doesn't it? Their business is the product itself, not necessarily managing the transport chain. They might have standards, but they don't dictate specific providers usually.
So what do they care about them from the buyer's side?
Performance. They need to know you can actually do the deal.
Yeah.
That you have the operational setup, the financial backing to see it through smoothly.
They expect you to prove you can meet their standards, essentially.
Yes, demonstrate your readiness.
Which brings us neatly to this idea of operational readiness. It's not just having the funds, is it? It's being ready on the ground.
Exactly. Ready to physically receive and handle the product. The articles use a good example. Getting a tank ready for, say, EN 590 injection.
Right. In busy places like Rotterdam or Houston, Fujairah, that sounds like quite a process.
Oh, it is. It's not just, the tank's empty. It needs technical checks, certification for that specific fuel grade, making sure it's clean, ready.
And it's time sensitive too, right? These hubs are moving fast.
Very time sensitive. Efficiency is everything there.
So you can't just declare I'm ready. There's a whole verification layer around your ability to receive the fuel.
Correct. Just saying your tank is ready isn't enough. There's documentation, and that documentation has to be
And
validated.
who validates it? Not just the refinery.
It goes through multiple channels. The port authorities are involved, the refinery's own storage management. It's a check to confirm everything's genuinely in place on your end.
Okay, now this seems critical. The articles really emphasize this. Just having a tank storage receipt, a TSR, that doesn't mean the deal is done.
Not at all. It's a piece, yes, but only one piece of a bigger puzzle. It's not the finish line.
So after the TSR, what comes next? What are the crucial verification steps then?
Right. This is where it gets really specific. The final hurdle is getting that rigorous dip test authorization.
The DTA we mentioned earlier?
Well, the authorization with the dip test. And this needs tight coordination with the port authorities.
Okay.
And this is where specific codes become vital. The sources list them. CAS code, talon number, hub number, and tag number. These have to be authenticated by the port authority independently.
Wow, okay. Passcode, Talon, hub, take key. Sounds like a digital key system almost. Each code unlocking a different part of the process.
Something like that. They're unique identifiers confirming the legitimacy of different aspects and access. The specific tank, the operation window.
And refineries have serious security around those TSRs to stop fraud.
Oh, absolutely. Multi-layered security. Trying to fake these documents or codes. That's incredibly risky.
What happens if you try?
Severe consequences. Deal canceled immediately, almost certainly legal action. It's just not worth trying to cheat the system here.
Okay, so with all these checks, what's the real benefit for an experienced buyer in getting that dip test permission? Why is it so valued?
Getting the dip test permission is, well, it's a major confirmation point. It's physical proof, authorized by the refinery, that the product is real, it meets spec, and it's there.
So it gives the buyer confidence.
Huge confidence. It's kind of like a reservation being confirmed in a very tangible way. It strongly suggests the supply is secure.
But the buyer still has obligations.
Oh, definitely. As the sources point out, you still need to fulfill your side of the contract. But crucially, it also forces the seller to show their hand early, prove the product exists and is ready. It shifts some risk.
Okay, that makes sense. It proves the product side of things. So let's talk about the Dip Test Authorization process itself, the DTA form. What's that about?
The TTA form. The sources say it's mandatory, issued by the refinery. It's the official go-ahead for any physical inspection or to start the fuel injection.
Like the final green light.
Exactly. And it needs a lot of specific information.
Right, the articles list quite a bit. Tank storage name, the buyer's tank number, then those codes again, PAS code, hub number, teat number.
Plus logistical details like GPS coordinates, contact person, talon number, port name, address. It's comprehensive.
And accuracy is key, I imagine.
Absolutely critical. The buyer's logistics partner usually fills this out, and the sources stress it must be accurate and perfectly aligned with what the Port Authority has on record.
Any small mistake could cause problems.
Big problems, delays, complications. You need precision here.
Okay, let's maybe break down these codes a bit more. They seem central. The PAS code, Port Access Security Code. What's its job?
The PAS code is basically your ticket into the terminal. It's issued by the Port Authority. Without it, no security clearance, no physical access for people or vehicles. Think of it as the main gate key.
Right, controls who gets in and out. Fundamental security. Okay, then the talon number. That sounds more specific to the storage part.
It is. It's described as a temporary ID for the storage operation itself, linked to a specific tank for a specific injection window.
So, like a temporary tracking number within the refinery system for that particular operation.
Exactly. It manages the product movement for that specific transaction within their records.
Okay, PAS for port entry, talon for the specific storage slot. What about the TAC number, tank authorization code?
The TAC number is the final piece, validating that your specific tank is authorized for this specific transaction. It has to match all the booking details and your buyer credentials.
And who issues the TAC?
Usually the refinery itself, or maybe the terminal acting for them.
Yeah.
It confirms the tank is officially assigned to your deal.
So 3 codes, potentially from different places, Port Authority, refinery, terminal. How do they all come together?
Coordination is key. The refinery's control tower, according to the sources, sends all these codes, PAS, talon, TAC, over to the Port Authority.
And the Port Authority checks them.
Yes, they cross-reference everything against their own independent records. If anything doesn't match, red flag.
And red flags mean?
At best, delays. More seriously, denial of access, or even permissions already given could be revoked.
Yeah.
It just highlights how crucial accuracy is for all the logistics docs and these codes.
Utterly crucial, it sounds like.
Precisely. And the sources really hammer this home. Securing the valid storage, ensuring it's ready, following all these protocols. That responsibility, it lies squarely with you, the buyer.
Refineries won't bend the rules if your arrangements aren't compliant.
No, they won't risk their own operational integrity or reputation. Your logistics have to meet their requirements, period.
So getting your logistics right isn't just good practice. It's basically step 1 for any serious buyer wanting a smooth deal.
It's a prerequisite. The articles even call compliant DTA logistics a zero-risk opportunity, but only if you're fully prepared.
Meaning if you've done your homework, got proper storage, followed the DTA steps, it should work.
That's the idea. The risks pop up mainly when the buyer side, the logistics side, has gaps or errors.
And speaking of logistics partner storage providers, shipping agents, the articles strongly recommend verifying them too, right?
Very strongly. They specifically mention firm Rotterdam having resources, including a public blacklist of dodgy companies.
And Black Sea Trading, the source, says they won't work with anyone on that list.
Correct. It's basic due diligence, isn't it? You need to trust everyone in the chain. not just the seller. Using tools like that blacklist is just smart practice. Helps you avoid bad partnerships.
Definitely sounds prudent. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the absolute must-remember points for our listeners?
I'd say three things stand out. One, really understand and follow the refinery verification rules rigorously. Two, pay super close attention to the DTA process and those key codes, PAS, Talon, TA. Make sure they're accurate and validated by the port.
And the third?
And third, remember that you, the buyer, are responsible for making sure your logistics are totally ready and compliant. No cutting corners there. The consequences can be pretty significant.
Right. So when you think about this whole complex web of checks, these layers of verification for big money deals, what does it really tell us about how these high-value industries function?
Well, it points to a fundamental need for transparency, doesn't it? And for meticulous process. Your diligence isn't just about this one deal.
It's about protecting your whole operation, really, in a global market full of complexity, where one tiny oversight could potentially expose you to huge risks. It makes you wonder what other small details, maybe at other parts of international trade, carry that same kind of critical weight, just waiting to be understood.